You see, writing an SOP in 2026 has become extremely difficult. You know why? Because every time you sit down in front of that blank piece of paper, you start typing, the first thing that comes to your mind is that, well, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing over here. Let me go on to chatgpt.com, feed my story in, and get some initial level of output. But is that the right strategy? The answer would be no. See, using AI to write your SOPs is not a wrong thing. You can submit an AI-generated SOP to a school. You absolutely can. And hell, you may even be able to get some admits. But most of the top universities will look at it, recognize it, and probably place you in a pile which is less than preferred. So how do you actually write an SOP from scratch without using AI first, and then maybe take help from AI to sort of polish it, and still ensure, by the way, that in the end it is not detected as AI? That's what this video is on. Hi, my name is Yash, and I got into some of the top 20 schools all over the world using an SOP that I wrote by myself. That was back when AI did not exist, back in 2019. We did not have these massive LLMs available to us for free like we do today. But using those exact strategies, since 2019, I have helped 5,000 plus candidates, and you can actually see this. This is verifiable data on YMGrad.com. 5,000 plus candidates get into some of the top most universities in the world. And let me tell you, their SOP was one of the biggest component. Whether you name Harvard University, Stanford, MIT, University of Toronto, London Business School, HEC Paris, NUS, every one of these schools, we have students studying there as we speak. So let me give you my foolproof strategy for absolutely free in this video. All I ask for is that you hit the subscribe button and let me know how you found this video at the end, because that's how I stay motivated to make more such videos for you guys. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is to split this into phases, and phase one is emotion dump. This is where I like to either use speech to text or just sit down in front of a piece of paper, start writing anything that I feel like is important to me in my profession, whatever experiences I've had, the experiences that sort of shape my journey. Write down all of those instances that come to your mind. Give it an hour, maybe 30 minutes. And if you don't understand what to write, think of some of the answers to these questions. Number one, why you chose your field? Why are you in the field of, let's say, if you're in computer science, why are you studying computer science right now? What was a turning point or challenge that you recently faced in your particular domain? What is a passion project or an obsession of yours? What do you really like to work on? Is there anyone who helped sort of change your view about your field? How did they impact you? And finally, what drives you at 2 a.m. when you're sitting down in front of your laptop and coding that particular piece of software, AI, NLP, whatever you're doing? Why do you do that? What is your drive at that 2 a.m. timestamp that you're actually still sitting in front of your laptop rather than sleeping? Now, this can be applied to any field whatsoever. I'm just taking an example of computer science because that's just easy. Remember, till now, we have not used AI at all. Next thing you want is to rank these experiences. When you vomited all of your experiences in front of you on a piece of paper, essentially, there's probably a lot going on. And especially if you do this in tranches, you come back to this piece of paper, you add more and more experiences, you need some sort of a ranking system that, okay, hey, this experience is probably number one on my list. This one, number two. This one, number three. So on and so forth. Rank those experiences. Now, these experiences are not just your internships or projects that you worked on. They could even be stories and things that you just went through in your life, pretty much. So you extract the 5 or 6 most important experiences to you over there, and that's where we start working on your actual SOP from there. Okay, these experiences are the most important ones, they're going in there. Phase 2, this is augmentation. This is where you take support from AI. The goal, remember, is to use AI but not to leave the fingerprint. This is where you go on to ChatGPT, Cloud, Perplexity, whatever you prefer essentially, and you give it all of these experiences and you start playing around, start seeing what it can generate for you. You can also ask ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever you want to use a tone which is more human and does not seem like it is AI generated. You can ask to rephrase certain parts of your SOP. That's possible. You can use a prompt like this, like make it like a late night blog post, not a polished essay. It just helps you get to that human version of the content a little bit faster. Remember, the result should be that it doesn't sound or look like ChatGPT. That's all. Now you probably have an initial version of your draft in front of your screen. It may not be perfect. It may have a little bit of AI in it, but that's where phase 3 kicks kicks in, and that is AI removal. The goal here is to evade AI detection tools completely. Remember, you never want to use AI to write full paragraphs. So the first thing I would do is to take reference from those paragraphs, maybe modify certain parts of it, maybe change certain lines which you feel may not be perfectly representing your story. If you know how to write properly with even tools like Grammarly, you should be able to do this pretty easily. On top of that, take each and every paragraph and run it through AI detection tools like Zero GPT, Copy Leaks, GPT-0. If any of these flag your content as AI, that's your cue. You need to rewrite those paragraphs by yourself so that it doesn't look like it is AI. This is where you want to either manually rewrite everything or just take this paragraph, throw it into the YMGrad paraphraser, which, by the way, the link I'll include for absolutely free. You go ahead and you paste your paragraph in there, it'll update your paragraph to a non-AI version. Phase 4 is to check for caveats. You want to ensure that the profile that is visible and going through the admissions committee as a part of your SOP is actually you and not a concocted version of you. The thing with AI is that it'll make up things in many places. It might not understand who you are or your story in the best way possible in many cases. And that's important. That is literally the point of a statement of purpose, to depict your purpose to the admissions committee. And if that purpose is not going through and it looks like this SOP presents a person in front of the admissions committee that isn't you, that's where you want to stop and modify things. Make sure that the instances are your own and not from AI, and also make sure that your personal touch isn't gone. This is where I heavily recommend getting some feedback. Share it with an expert and try to understand how your SOP looks to someone else, not just you yourself. And finally, make sure that you apply Grammarly or any other grammar checking software just to make sure that there's no grammatical errors. Let me give you a bonus. You want to inject some mirror paragraphs where you talk about how you were person A previously and now you've become person B, and what is the journey, the transformation between these person A and person B, how you changed from person A to person B. That's probably something that you want to show to the committee, because the admissions committees, they're not looking for people who are already perfect. They want to see people who are transforming, always improvising. And the result should be something deeply authentic. It should not have AI fingerprints. It should be emotionally sticky and deeply narrative. And finally, it should be admit-worthy at some of these top universities. Now, before you go, imagine that there was an AI that was trained on 1,000 SOPs of students who got into some of the topmost universities only, like the ones that I named in this video earlier: Harvard, Stanford, MIT, so on and so forth. Well, this kind of an AI SOP generator does exist. And this kind of a generator already has the exact questions that you probably want to answer in your SOP. So you just answer those questions in your own words or using AI, and then it generates the SOP for you, and it even paraphrases it, gives you a paraphrase version as well, such that it doesn't seem to be AI later on. Basically, this will make sure that all your AI detection checks fail completely and your SOP is original, it's simple, and you probably spend less than an hour on it. Now, that is exactly what you get when you sign up on YMGrad.com. There's the YMGrad AI SOP generator. I'm going to include the link in the description in this video, so make sure that you check it out. And finally, when you sign up on YMGrad.com, there's a lot of free SOP samples that we send you, so you could use those in your SOP preparation as well. So I hope that this helps. Remember, I've been an international student just like you, so I know how it feels sitting in front of that piece of paper, but trust me, with time and effort, you're going to get there, and it only gets better and better. So don't worry about that. And if you need help anywhere in your admissions, you can reach out to my team. My team's WhatsApp number is in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care.